Do you know how many times the name Joseph appears in the Bible? Do you know the various functions the name Joseph play in the Bible? Dear friends, dear viewers, lovers of morality sites, in today's video, I'm going to talk about the importance, the significance, the reputation the name Joseph have in the scripture, and has to do with our own lives, and has to do with the Bible. Dear friends, today our society have lost sense of responsibility. That is why I decided to go over this name Joseph, to reflect over this name Joseph. How many times this name Joseph occurred in the scripture? How many times this name Joseph featured in the Bible? And I come to realize that the name Joseph appeared 12 times. This is not a coincidence. This is not by mistake. For me, it is divine arrangement. The number 12 has a great significance when it comes to scripture. The number 12 has biblical importance and interpretation. Yes, talk about the 12 tribes of Israel. Talk about the 12 apostles. We talk about the 12 sons of Jacob. Just to mention but a few. Yes, the 12 times the name Joseph occurred in the scripture. Dear friends, before I begin, if you are just coming across this channel for the first time and you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Do you know the meaning of the name Joseph? Going back to Hebrew understanding of the name Joseph, the name Joseph means God will increase. God will increase. Yes, dear friends, that is why this name, I hold this name in high esteem. I hold this name because of the high reputation this name carried. I hold this name Joseph because of the value he has added to the scripture. I hold this name in high dignity because of the moral standard he represents in the scripture. Dear friends, I take you back to Genesis chapter 37. Joseph, the son of Jacob, when he was sold for slavery by his brothers. Act of jealousy, because he has dreams for liberation. He has dreams of becoming a leader, because he has dreams of making it real. He has dreams of governance. Remember Joseph, the son of Jacob. When he was in Potiphar's house as a maid, as a servant, after being set up, yet he stood firm for his belief, for the fear he had for God. And he stand tall and overcome the temptation. Yes, from housemaid to become a prisoner, Joseph was imprisoned of false allegation. Yes, in prison, Joseph became an interpreter of dreams. From an interpreter of dreams, Joseph became the governor of Egypt, next in command after Pharaoh. That is Joseph in the Genesis account. We move to the book of Numbers. Joseph was also mentioned in Numbers chapter 13, verse 7. Men whom Moses chooses to go and explore the land of Canaan, which God has promised for the children of Israelites. Yes, among the men, Joseph was among. Yes, I'm talking about the name Joseph. How significant it is in the scripture. How biblical he played in our own lives too. Yes, Joseph, being a man who God has chosen to go and explore the land of Canaan, which God has promised to them as a promised land. Joseph was among. Again, we move to the book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 25, verses 1, 2, and 9. The name Joseph was among the names of those who played the musical instruments, those who played the pipes, the lutes for King David. Joseph here as a musician. That is Joseph. That is the meaning of the name Joseph. Again, I want us to look Joseph in another perspective. Joseph in Luke chapter 3, verse 30. We realize that the name Joseph has a greater role to play in our society, has a greater role to play in our destiny, has a greater role to play in our future as followers of Christ. The name Joseph occurred here in Luke chapter 3, verse 30. The genealogy how Jesus came, the ancestral history, how Jesus came. Yes, that is the name Joseph. Move further. Move to the book of Ezra, chapter 10, verses 10 to 12, 42, verse 44. We discover that the names of the Israelites who got married to foreign wives that were against the law of Moses, now realize, come to their consciousness and send away their wives and everything about their wives away because they fear God. Yet Joseph, as a man who feared God, yet Joseph, as someone who believed on the law, yet Joseph, as a law-abiding citizen. Again, in Matthew chapter 1, verse 16, we see another Joseph, the foster father of Jesus, play an important role in the life of Jesus. Help Jesus from infancy to an adult. Help Jesus to escape from the hands of Pharaoh. Yes, that notwithstanding, he accepted Mary. That's gave him the position of being a man of honor, to keep the will of God, to make everything about the promise that God has promised us to become realized, to become fulfilled. Joseph, a man of honor, a man of high reputation. Again, in Matthew chapter 13, verse 55, we see Joseph being a brother of Jesus, those who came to look for Jesus. His brothers, his sisters, and his mother, Joseph, was also mentioned. Joseph is a brother of Jesus. Joseph is our brother. Joseph is our friend. Yes, the name Joseph has very, very significance in our lives to reflect over this name and ponder over it. The name Joseph has biblical significance. Yes, again, in Luke chapter 23, verses 50 to 53, we see another Joseph, Joseph of Arimathea, who played an important role also. He refused to take part in condemning Jesus. He refused to soil his hands. Yeah, he believed in the Messiah. He believed in Jesus as the Son of God. And later, he went behind after the execution of Jesus to beg Pilate for the body of Jesus. And he brought down the body of Jesus, arranged it, and give it a befitting burial. That is Joseph, who has dignity about life, respect for human dignity. Is Joseph. Joseph respects life, dignity, has valor for Christ. Joseph. Dear friends, I remember another Joseph. Yes, Joseph was also mentioned in Acts of the Apostles. Those who were chosen to replace Judas. They were Matthias and Joseph. Joseph a man of reputation. Though he loses the opportunity to become apostle, but was among those chosen to replace Judas. That is the name Joseph. Finally, Joseph was also appeared in Acts of the Apostles, chapter 4, verses 36 to 37. Joseph, a Levite from Cyprus, who sold everything and brought the money and placed it in the feet of the apostles. Joseph, the son of encouragement, whom the apostles some name Barnabas. Do you see? The name Joseph has a lot to do in our scripture. If we emulate the name Joseph, if you reflect about the name Joseph, then our society will never be the same. If you see what Joseph, who has been changed from Joseph to Barnabas, play in Acts of the Apostles, then we have to give respect to the name Joseph. Was this Joseph, now Barnabas, who brought Paul to the apostles to make apostles to understand that is now a brown and a prepared instrument for evangelization, to preach the message, to preach the good news to the people. That is Joseph. This Joseph was the one who followed Paul in his first missionary journey, in his second missionary journey, and helped Paul to introduce Paul, to make the believers, Christians, to understand that Paul is a changed person, that Paul has been called by Christ himself. That is the Joseph. We all need to emulate the name Joseph. We have to play the part of Josephs in our society, in our place of work, in our families as married men. Joseph, wherever we find ourselves. Yes, we see Joseph as a governor who rules very well in Egypt, a liberator, giver of life. He preserves food. He knows when starvation is to come. He knows when famine was to take place. You have to preserve food for the 7 years of famine. Joseph, as a seer, he foretells what will happen in the future. We need to have the Spirit of God in us, so we become like Joseph, who see the future and interpret what will happen. We have to be like Joseph, who as a governor rule the people with integrity, with love and care. We have to be like Joseph, who forgives his brothers, although his brothers have wronged him, although his brothers have betrayed him and sold him as a slave. We have to be Joseph when we are at the point of giving up, from grass to grace, from pit to the governor. That is how we need to emulate the life of Joseph. We have to be Joseph as priests, as Levites, as pastors, as preachers, as mediators between God and man, to play the right part. We have to be Joseph as a foster father of Jesus, to help others to realize their dreams, to take care of the orphans, the widows, the abandoned, the rejected in our society. That is Joseph, the husband of Mary, the role he played. We have to be Joseph by identifying our brothers and our sisters, no matter the circumstances we find ourselves. That is Joseph, the brothers of Jesus. We have to be Josephs of Arimathea by helping to preserve life, to take care of the dead. Not nowadays, see, dead bodies are being littered in war zones. Dead bodies are found everywhere in our society. You have to be Joseph of Arimathea to preserve dead body, to preserve life. Be men who respect the dignity of a human being, being life or death. We have to be Josephs, one who encourages, son of encouragement. In Acts of the Apostles, chapter 4. Joseph who brought Paul to the limelight. For Paul to realize his dream was thanks to Joseph, who became Barnabas. That is what we need to do. That's what we all are called to emulate. Let us, dear friends, reflect over this name Joseph. The name Joseph had a lot to do. We as Christians, if you emulate it, let us become Josephs in our society. Let us become Josephs in our community. Let us become Josephs in our place of work. Let us become Josephs in our parishes. Let Joseph be what we all want to become. Let us change our names, not physical names, but our spiritual thoughts, our way of behaving, our way, how we relate with one another to become that of Joseph's in the scripture. Yes, dear friends, lovers of morality side, if you are following this channel for the first time, you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. Press the like button. Comment and express how you feel about this video. Thank you for watching.